Hello and welcome to our scene on achondroplasia, part of our playlist on the autosomal dominant diseases. In this image, we'll quickly review everything you should know about this disease for your board exams and shelves. Let's jump right in. Achondroplasia is the most common cause of dwarfism. In fact, it's really the only cause of dwarfism you should know for your exams in medical school. For this reason, the anchor of our scene is a dwarf. A little-known fact not included in fantasy novels is that dwarves love fig fruits and will often leave their mines and forges in order to gather them. Let's see what our dwarf is up to here at the fig fruit farm. First, take a look at the pickup truck our dwarf has driven to the farm. Pretty rustic and farm-like if you ask me. At Pixorize, we represent autosomal dominant inheritance with large dominant automobiles like trucks and tanks. This farm truck is here to help you remember that achondroplasia is inherited in an autosomal dominant fashion. Next, take a look at the windshield of our truck. See how a branch is penetrated straight through? I guess our dwarf roughed up the trees a little while picking fig fruits. Anyways, this branch fully penetrating the windshield is here to help you remember the full penetrance seen in achondroplasia. Patients with only one defective allele will always have clinical achondroplasia. In fact, two defective alleles are never seen because homozygosity is actually lethal in utero. So now that we know the inheritance and penetrance of achondroplasia, let's focus on the gene actually responsible for causing this syndrome. Pan out to the background, where our dwarf is gathering fig fruits from 3 fruit trees. Why fig fruits, you ask? Well, that's because achondroplasia results from constitutive activation of FGFR3. Fig fruit tree for FGFR3. I thought that one was pretty good. To remember constitutive activation, just imagine these trees full of figs. You could even say that these trees are constitutively producing figs year-round. Constitutive activation of FGFR3 actually inhibits chondrocyte proliferation, which in turn impairs the body's ability to make cartilage. The high-yield summary is as follows. Constitutive FGFR3 expression inhibits chondrocyte proliferation, impairing formation of cartilage. The result of this defect in cartilage is pretty obvious. Check out how this dwarf gathers figs by using a clear bag on a long stick. Did you notice that the stick is broken? This long stick is broken, representing the impairment of longitudinal bone growth in achondroplasia. Long bone growth occurs through endochondral ossification, which requires cartilage at growth plates. Since chondrocytes are defective in achondroplasia, this cartilage is abnormal and bones cannot lengthen appropriately. The bones affected are the bones of the arms, legs, and torso, which is why achondroplasia presents with dwarfism. Next, take a look how the bag used to catch figs is intact. This membranous bag represents membranous ossification, which remains intact in achondroplasia since this process is not dependent on replacing cartilage with bone. The bones that develop through membranous ossification are the bones of the skull and the clavicles, which is why patients with achondroplasia usually have large heads relative to the rest of their body, similar to this dwarf. This distinction between longitudinal and membranous ossification is high yield and is frequently tested on exams. Just picture this dwarf, his stick, and his bag, and you'll remember the key differences on test day. And that's it for achondroplasia. Short but sweet. Just remember our dwarf gathering his favorite fig fruits, and you'll have mastered any question you might get on this disease. We'll see you next time.